Mark.
And I'm Josh.
And this is Alter Ego Comics TV, episode number 119. We're coming to you from Alter Ego Comics in Lima, Ohio. Before we open on Wednesday, and we're here to give you our picks of the week, things that we really enjoyed. We poured over a bunch of comics on Tuesday night, as we always do, so that we can tell you what's good. That's what we're here for. And I will kick things off with... I can't read this morning. I read so much last night, my eyes don't work anymore. Daredevil, number 26. This is written by Mark Waid with art by Chris Samnee, the team that is doing just a wonderful job on Daredevil, the Man Without Fear. And this, we're getting close, I think, to the culmination of plot threads that have been thrown out in Daredevil since the beginning, when it started. That'd be the beginning. And so Daredevil is just... When the book relaunched with Waid writing, the book had a lighter feel to it. It was more kind of happy-go-lucky Matt Murdock. It had more of a swashbuckling feel to it. And things have slowly gotten darker and darker and darker. And we find out that all of these things that have been contributing to the darkness have been orchestrated by someone. And that someone is revealed in this issue. And it was cool. It's a cool reveal. It's been so good from the beginning. You know, we've been telling you this since the beginning. Again, I'm going to say beginning. Beginning is the new awesome. Samnee's artwork is fantastic. The creative team on this, I mean, Waid and Samnee together are incredible. They can do no wrong. This book has action. This has drama. It has intrigue. And it has an amazing backup story. I'm not sure why we got a backup story by the same creative team. It could have been... I guess they didn't want to detract from what was going on in the main story. But as you may or may not know, Foggy Nelson, Matt Murdock's law firm partner and friend, is battling cancer. And he's in the hospital, and the doctors ask him to go talk to the children in the children's cancer ward. And it's just a very emotional ending to the book. Especially, you know, all of us have been affected by cancer, usually in some form or another. And... you know, if you have, you're going to get a little choked up when you read this. But it's beautifully drawn. It's fun. It involves the kids making a comic book for Iron Man, who's going to come visit them. And the title of the backup is Punch Cancer, which I wish we all could do. But as if you need another reason to pick up Daredevil, the backup in here is really, really good. The book itself is awesome as well. There's awesome again. The end.
And how great is that for Mark Waid that the book is really good every month. It's gotten to the point where I don't even have to talk about why Daredevil is awesome. You know, the backup itself. You know, Daredevil is good, like it is every month. That's not a surprise. The backup is extra awesome. It's just
that's what I'm struggling with here with our weekly visits with you. There are books that are consistently really good, and I'm sure you don't want me to come back every week and talk about the same books over and over and over again, which I end up doing to some extent because there are just books that are consistently really, really good. So we're trying to find some different stuff maybe to talk about this week that's still good. Over to Josh. Oh, wait, it's a book we've talked about before.
Oh, no. It's Superior Spider-Man number 10. Spoiler alert, at the end of the last issue, Doc Ock went into his brain and fettered out the Peter Parker and burned out, or whatever it is he did. He got rid of Peter Parker. There's no more Ghost Peter haunting the edges of Doc's perception.
I hate it when there's a Ghost Peter haunting the
right?
edge of my perception.
And for a lot of people, maybe me included, that was a big deal. And I was not sure I wanted to read a book that was completely absent Peter Parker's persona. I was wrong, I guess. This is really good. Superior Spider-Man 10, you know, you've got Ock being Ock. He's still on his crusade to prove that he's a better Spider-Man, that he is a superior Spider-Man to what Parker could be. And it's really good. You know, you still have a lot of Parker's supporting cast in there, Mary Jane, Auntie M, no, not Auntie M, Aunt May, and the Jameson boys. And it's just so good. Like, I don't know, part of it is you see the fallout amongst Peter's family and Peter's loved ones with this weird, basically cuckoo sort of insinuating itself into their lives. But they've also actually kind of made me care about Doc Ock's girlfriend at college, and like it's genuinely good. And I'm not sure how to deal with that other than to keep reading and keep enjoying it.
Dan Slott. Making us care about characters we didn't think we cared about. Hey, you know what? It's a book I've talked about before. Uncanny Avengers number 8, AU, Age of Ultron. This is actually written by two different people that I like, Rick Remender and Jerry Dugan. Remender is the regular writer of the series, and Jerry Dugan is one of the co-writers of Deadpool, which I easily could have talked about this week, but decided to spare you me just talking again about how much I like the new Deadpool series. And the artwork this time around by Adam Kubert, and that is the tipping point for me of what got this book into my top 3 was Kubert's artwork. It is excellent, and it fits really well with the story. He draws a great Captain America, and he gets to draw Colonel America in this one. Of course, if you've been following Age of Ultron, the timeline has been all screwed up because, and I'm going to spoil some stuff just in case, but this has been out for months, and there's no excuse, really, unless you just watch the videos and don't read comics. But Wolverine and Sue Storm went back in time to do away with Henry Pym before he could create Ultron, since Ultron has decimated the planet Earth. And Wolverine goes back, and I think that maybe Sue thought they were going to talk to him and try and talk him out of creating Ultron, and they tried that a little bit, and in the end, Wolverine just had to kill him. So Hank is dead, and now the timeline got all screwed up, so they go back to the present, and things are not what they were. So instead of the Avengers, you have the Defenders, which is made up of a who's who of Marvel heroes, some of them a little different than they used to be, and one of those is Colonel America, who has an eye patch, but it's still Steve Rogers, and he, in this story, we see some threads from the previous issues of Uncanny Avengers. We've got Kang, who's pulling the strings of the Apocalypse Twins, and he says, well, you need to ensure the survival of mutant kind, and to do that, you need to start strategically taking out these people, and the first on your list is Colonel America. So we get to see more of that character, which we really haven't gotten a good glimpse of in the Age of Ultron series. We get to see what's going on with Havoc and Rogue, who are now the leaders of the Morlocks. And it's just a really solid kind of alternate timeline fun story that the X-Men used to do back in the 70s and 80s and 90s with some regularity. So I'm kind of glad to see that coming back. And who knows where this whole Age of Ultron nonsense is going. It's not nonsense. It's actually a really good story. But who knows where it's going. In the meantime, we get kind of a nice little pocket story within the Age of Ultron universe. And that's really what all of these AU tie-ins have been. All of the tie-ins have been very enjoyable, standalone, one-off issues that give you just a deeper glimpse into the Age of Ultron universe. So great story by Remender and Dugan, great artwork by Adam Kubert. Check it out.
And I would point out that, at least the way I read it, is this is Kang and the Apocalypse Twins from our continuity.
Yes.
I mean, because he moves through time, these actually have potential ramifications in the regular series. Even though it's set in Age of Ultron, if you're reading regular Uncanny, this will help explain who those random people that show up and kill things are. And, again, it was really good. Next up this week, we have a book that I do talk about all the time, but I feel okay with it because the creative team and the stories keep changing. A+X number 8. We've got the Spider-Woman Kitty Pryde story by Jerry Dugan and Salvador Larroca. Jerry Dugan keeps popping up. And a Hawkeye Deadpool by Chris Hastings and Riley Brown. And the great things about this are the same things that are always great about A+X. You know, it's a one-and-done story, or it's 2 one-and-done stories in one issue. You get the lead with Shadowcat and Spider-Woman is a lot of fun. I'm a huge Kitty Pryde fan. I don't really care at all about Spider-Woman, but she's dating Hawkeye, so, you know, good for you. But it's just interesting. It's neat to see these characters that we know. I mean, everyone in the Marvel Universe lives in New York City, and they all show up every time the Watcher points at something. So it seems like all these people should know each other, and all too often there are a lot of characters we don't see paired together. So that's one of the great things about A+X is you get to see these characters who obviously have to be acquainted and see the way their worlds kind of interlock and how their personalities conflict or don't conflict, how they gel, how they don't. And it was very cool. But inestimably cool is the Hawkeye Deadpool backup story. Or, well, it's not the backup. The second half of the book is Hawkeye Deadpool. And that's all you need. In order to fit in, Deadpool is also using a bow. They fight underground pirates in order to save an Italian restaurant, or a Mexican restaurant. And it is amazing. I laughed out loud. I cried. I had the best feeling I ever had while reading a comic book. A+X is awesome.
It was better than Cats. Why don't you do your next one, and we'll wrap up with this other one.
That other one there? All right. Coming back at you. With Green Team, number 1, by Art Baltazar. What's Franco's first name? Jim Franco?
Frank O.
Frank O. Baltazar and Franco, the team you remember from Tiny Titans. Also art by Iguara. Green Team is one of the 2 new books from DC. This is the other one being The Movement that came out last week or 2 weeks ago. Movement makes you laugh, doesn't it?
Yes.
We had a movement a few weeks ago. And it was green because the Green Team. So Green Team is about teenage billionaires. It actually says, teenage trillionaires. And my initial response was I did not want to like this book, but it was good and it made me like it. Basically, this is coming out of the whole 99%, 1% thing. You have, street level heroes in the movement trying to take back against the government's will and kind of stand up for people. And in the Green Team, you have the 1%, the wealthiest of the wealthy, 14, 16-year-olds with trillions and trillions of dollars who can literally buy anything they want. And this actually made me care about spoiled rich brats. We have a cool lead character who's from a, I believe, fictional Middle Eastern country who's going to be taking over his family's business and has to prove that he can make money. And we have these cool kind of, I don't even know, almost like rave-like scientific things. It goes out at the last minute and these people show up and do technologies that maybe isn't strictly legal, things that you couldn't see elsewhere. And it's really cool. It's a neat concept for what you could do if you had that much money, if you had that ability, and also if you lived in the DC universe where lots of fictional things happen. It's kind of interesting because as I looked at this, I sort of inherently compared it to Bruce Wayne. Because he has, maybe not trillions, but he has lots and lots of money. And the idea that these people, they kind of approach it differently using the same resources and ultimately for some of the same goals. So Green Team was a lot of fun, very different feel, still set in the DC universe, and you should check it out.
Finally, we're going to wrap things up with Green Lantern number 20. This is the epic finale to Wrath of the First Lantern. It's also the epic finale to Geoff Johns' run on the Green Lantern books, which lasted 10 years. So the book itself, if you haven't been reading Wrath of the First Lantern, a lot of this isn't going to mean anything to you. But there are, if you're even a little bit of a Green Lantern fan, there's something in here for you. We see resolution, of course, to what's been going on with the storyline, but we also see glimpses of what the future may hold. And throughout the book are interspersed little tributes to Geoff Johns. I'm not sure why they did it this way.
Well, there's no ads, right? Like those
what?
pages are in there, but there's no other ads. So those are taking the place of the ad pages.
There are no ads. And I should mention that this is a $7.99 book that is jam-packed full of story and tributes to Geoff Johns. It's one of those where you absolutely get your money's worth. So I thought we'd take this opportunity more to talk about what Geoff Johns' legacy is with Green Lantern and what he's done with the DC Universe over the last 10 years. Starting basically in 2003, he wanted to resurrect this character of Hal Jordan, who had been the Spectre, who had been disgraced as a Green Lantern, and make him relevant again and make him heroic again. And they did that. He did that with Green Lantern Rebirth, which was a huge success, and kind of gave us our first real glimpse of superstar artist Ethan Van Sciver, too, even though he had been doing other things. He definitely got a lot of recognition out of it as well. So Rebirth led to an ongoing Green Lantern series, which led to the new 52 Green Lantern series, but also in between we had things like Blackest Night, we had Brightest Day, we had... When I stopped to think about it last night after I read this, or as I was reading this, really the amount of work that Geoff Johns has done within the Green Lantern universe is staggering. The new characters that have been introduced. We've gotten Larfleeze, we've gotten Atrocitus, we've gotten all the different Rainbow Coalition of Lanterns. We've gotten further character development or greater character development on all of the players within the Green Lantern universe. Most recently we got Simon Baz, who is the newest Green Lantern of Earth, who I think is going to stick around. I like the character. I think most people do. And we get a glimpse of what his future may hold in here as well. So, Geoff Johns, nice going. Good work. We're going to miss you on Green Lantern, but you're still writing Aquaman and Justice League for now and heavily involved on the TV side and video game side at DC Entertainment. Anything you want to say to Geoff Johns?
Hi, Geoff Johns. No, I mean, and I think it would not be understating it to say that Geoff Johns is one of the primary architects of the DC Universe at this point in time. I mean, he has the flagship title with Justice League. He brought back Aquaman, or he resurrected almost Aquaman from dismal sales. And that would not have happened without what he did with Green Lantern. It's not just that he introduced new characters, and he fundamentally revitalized the Green Lantern mythology. I mean, when he came in, technically he co-wrote Day of Vengeance, so Hal wasn't even the Spectre. Hal was just dead. When Johns came on the scene, he made him into the Spectre. Then he brought him back to life. You have Hal being dead. You have the rings are vulnerable to the color yellow for no reason that's ever well explained. And you have the cores kind of in shatters. The core's messed up. And, he brought it together. He brought Hal back in a believable way. He made him important, and he redeemed him from his fall as Parallax in a believable way. And most importantly, I think to me, and maybe to the ongoing continuity, is he explained the color deficiency. He sort of created this emotional spectrum and made Green Lantern less silly. It made sense on an emotional level. And, I mean, that's a pretty good legacy. Good.
That's no small feat.
That's great for the guy that gets coffee for Richard Donner. You did good, sir.
Yeah. So this is it. Geoff Johns' swan song on Green Lantern. Check it out. Green Lantern number 20. It's definitely worth the price of admission, and I'm sure you will enjoy it. And I'm curious to see where Geoff Johns goes after this. I mean, he's been primarily identified with the character of Green Lantern for 10 years. So the future is why the future's so bright for Geoff Johns. He's got to wear shades. Another 80s reference. Thank you very much. Alrighty then. So another great week for comics. We thank you for joining us here on Masterpiece Theater, here on Alter Ego Comics TV. We're headed into the crazy summer convention season when there will be announcements left and right, and so we may, bring back comic book news or comic news when it's relevant, when it's available. But we just wanted to talk about some great comics this week, and you can't go wrong with any of the ones that we mentioned. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Let's see. So right now we're in the middle of the Jungle Book, Last of the Species, which is a continuation of the first series for Jungle Book for Zenescope. It kind of follows the ongoing story of Mowgli and all the rest of the kids who are stranded on this island full of talking and warring animals. This one introduces a new kind of like big bad guy, which is the bears, and it kind of explains why Baloo is the only bear left, and so it's bringing back these kind of scary giant bears that are ferocious and evil. And so Mowgli's trapped underneath the island, and she's discovering what's going on with the bears and where they've been. And there's other stuff too. There's the Ka the python comes back, and there's some other surprises that are going on, and hopefully we can continue this one through next year. We'll see what happens after that. And then I'm also today, the reason why I'm here signing is to sign copies of Werewolves the Hunger, which is a part of Zenescope's. It's kind of a crossover that they've been doing, which is, it's called Unleashed. And this one's kind of a standalone miniseries talking about a character called Roman. He's kind of like a Punisher character who goes after werewolves, and he's pretty driven. He shoots first and asks questions later. So this is following Roman as he tracks down one werewolf and that keeps on infecting other werewolves to try to form his own pack. So he's trying to stop him from doing that. So those two series are what I've been working on lately, and got a couple other series coming out. Later in the year, we're doing a 100-page graphic novel through Famous Monsters, which is called Luna, Order of the Werewolf. It's another werewolf story, but it's one I've actually been working on for a couple of years, and that'll finally be coming out this fall, hopefully in time for Halloween. And then I've also kind of talking with a couple other people, got a couple other projects in the works right now. One's kind of a Viking story that I can't really talk very much about, but it's a lot of fun. It's mixing Vikings and horror and all kinds of cool stuff. And the other one coming out next month is I have a small piece in Occupy Comics, which is the second issue of that, which is going to talk about just the Occupy movement. And I don't really follow much of the Occupy movement, but it says a little bit about my kind of political views, I guess. So it's a 3-page quick little page, but In that issue, they also have Alan Moore and David Lloyd from V for Vendetta and a bunch of other guys, and I just jumped at the opportunity to kind of work in the same comic with Alan Moore. That was like kind of a dream come true. So other than that, I'm trying to keep busy and everything. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun doing these, and I hope to do more in the future.